Hey, what's up everyone? It's your girl Chrystina Stairs and welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, so in this video I am talking about, I'm sharing a testimonial about how your girl stopped wearing fake hair altogether and how it is connected and was connected and is connected to Jesus Christ. If you want to know more, stay tuned to this video. Let's get it. So of course, before we get into the bulk of the video, let's get into the definition and scripture. So the definition of fake is not genuine, counterfeit. The scripture I'll be using is Proverbs 31:30. Charm is deceptive, beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Okay, so I'm gonna explain a little bit about my hair journey. For my girls out there, y'all know who you are, who are either African American, like more so on the African side, you're not mixed, or you're like me, that's African American and European and you're mixed, or you're more on another spectrum, whatever ethnicity that is, and you have a little bit of African American, but your hair has basically taken on the more African side, because this can happen. I've seen it. So whatever girl that you are, this video is for you. So long story short though, I started off, and I'm sure you guys are gonna be like, oh my gosh, I did too. I started off at the tender age of 10. Okay, I'm 36 years old. I started off at the tender age of 10 years old, 10 or 11, getting a relaxer, right? And even before that let me just go back a little bit. Even before that, my mom, by the way, who is Asian descent, I'm adopted, which I don't know if you guys know that, but my mom, who is Asian descent, she, you know, like many moms who even are African American moms, right? Or biracial moms, or everything in between, all got basically introduced to braids or a relaxer. That was like basically our only option, right? The natural hair community, in my humble opinion, were so underground. To me, they didn't exist. Now, of course, they probably existed, but there was no knowledge to me or my mother at the time of them existing. And so it was either braids, right? Which I did get braids. So I got braids probably like at the youngest I probably got maybe like 7 or 8. I got braids, and I think the first time was French braids. And what they did was that they interweaved fake hair, which is artificial hair that is like basically like nylon or plastic or something crazy like that. Synthetic, sorry, not nylon or plastic, it's synthetic. Weave, which I don't even know how they do this. It's like probably through like a fiber type of situation. I don't even know, but it's synthetic hair. And so they weave the synthetic hair with your hair, and then they, you know, basically make, you know, a braid or whatever and stuff. And now that I think about it, I think I did get relaxers first. Relaxers were first. And then I got braids. And now my mom was introduced to getting braids by, I don't even know who. And they were African women, like straight from Africa, who had skills like no other in terms of like their creativity in their profession, and their aesthetic and how they do it is literally flawless. It's stunning. It's beautiful. However, with African women, what they do, they not only snatch your edges to almost a scalp, okay? It's so tight, right? I'm lucky that I got out alive with some edges, right? Like for real. But they braid your hair and they do it so tight. And I used to get individual braids, right? So they would give me length, and I'd be like, oh, I'm living. Oh my gosh, you know, because with relaxers, unfortunately, the cosmetologist, and whether they knew or not, there was nothing that was exploited to my mother and I of how to actually properly take care of relaxed hair to then acquire the length retention. And so because there was nobody telling us about the length retention, if they did, maybe it just glossed over. But of course, so I was telling my mom actually the other day, is that with straight hair, you're not worried about like having oils in, or even getting water a lot in your hair, because when you brush your hair naturally, that oil is able to then travel, and the natural oil is able to then travel to the ends of your hair. So your hair is always naturally coated. And then also you're not having to like swift through your hair or pull your hair, because your hair is naturally straight. And so that was our concept. I'm like, oh yeah, but when you get your hair relaxed, your hair is naturally going to be more dry. And obviously African American hair is more on the drier side for the most part. And so you're not able to, first of all, if you have curly hair and stuff, as we know now, as I know as a natural, you're not able to actually go brush your hair unless it has conditioner in it and you've fully detangled and finger detangle first, then comb, then brush, and then going through your hair. Maybe with a brush, but LOL, naturals, y'all know, we don't go through our hair with brushes like that, not really until it's a fully detangled condition, and then we go through it in sections. We can't just go like, la la la, and then it's like, you know, because it's not straight. So anyways, your oil is not traveling down to the ends of your strands, to the ends of your hair and your strands, and so you have to do that in many different ways. So anyways, we didn't know this knowledge, and so for me, I would get my hair relaxed, and then I would go through my hair, brushing it throughout the week and doing all this stuff. And then I was very, very active. I was like a jock, basically, you know, a female jock in a sense, like a female athlete, but then I was also in music and all that stuff. I was very, very active, very, very busy. I lived a very, very athletically, you know, physical life as well with all the things that I was involved in. And so, you know, I'm brushing my hair, doing all this stuff, not knowing that like as every brush that I take, is breaking off my ends for real. So my ends were just like breaking off at the same time the rate of my hair was growing. I did not know this, and so my hair was stuck, even the length that it was as it is right now curly, my hair was stuck here straight, right? Which doesn't really line up if you are taking care of your ends, right? And so as some of you might have seen with other videos that I've done in my other past YouTube videos, when I have straightened my hair, which I'm still growing out my hair, I don't think I'm ever going to stop growing out my hair. My hair actually is down to the lower of my bra strap length when I straighten my hair now. So my curls are so tight that it gives a more shorter look, which I actually love because I can have both worlds. And so if I want to have long hair, then I just straighten my hair. And if I want to have shorter hair, then I have just a shorter hair. But I didn't know any of this knowledge. So anyway, we started off with relaxers, and then it went into braids. But then also the way that they make it so beautiful is that they take a lighter and singe your hair. So when they take that lighter, or they take a scissor, either way, or maybe they both do it. They do the scissors and then they light your hair. I'm getting like flashbacks and triggers just even thinking about it now. But when they do that, they're obviously taking off all the inches that you have left, like, you know, that's out of your hair. And then, so that's shortening your hair right there. But then also they're damaging your hair by not only trimming it, but then not really trimming it, but like the singe, you know, you're getting the singe. Oh, Lord Jesus, if I would have known this knowledge now, your girl would have never stepped foot in getting her hair braided like that. Ever. Like ever. And y'all who know, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. The next step was now, because now my hair is fully damaged, right? I've been brushing it. I've been getting relaxed, fully damaged. My hair is stuck here, or maybe even here, or just like short here and then short back there. A mess, right? And so unintentionally short, right? It's not like I cut it that way. It's just because that's how my hair would break. And of course, none of the cosmetologists, none of the hairstylists, no one said anything. It's just like a normal thing, whether they knew or not, which I'm assuming that they didn't, giving them the benefit of the doubt, which not sure if they knew or not, but it's cool. So anyways, but luckily my hair sometimes would have seasons. Again, if I was like busy or stuff, where I would actually see a little bit more length and it would be really pretty and people would be like, oh my gosh, where it would be like right here, like still very short, but it would be like nice and like, you know, like tailored a nice way and stuff, and people like, oh my gosh, you know, because at that time the thought process was that African American hair, or if you're a mixed African American or whatever the case is, or you got a little African American but that African American translated into your hair through your genes, that African American hair just didn't grow past a certain length, that we were convinced. And so if you ever got a little bit length, it was like, oh, you know, oh, like you got so anyways. So the next step though, because your hair's not growing and you're not seeing length, you don't understand why. At least this was my mindset. It was now, let's go into weaves. So when you go into weaves, you will get that length, you will get that fullness, you will get that volume, but it ain't your hair. So, but anyways, I went into weaves, and so then I started having a lot of length, and then they would do leave out, right? So they leave the top out, a little bit of the top out. and then would have a whole weave. And so like for me, I was living, but again, that's another trap in a sense, if somebody's braiding too tight, right? And then your leave out is completely broken off because, again, you don't know how to take care of your hair. You don't know how to take breaks or whatever. So then you're just left with whatever is there. So for me, I would do now going into weaves. Now I would see more of the length. The pro of a weave is that you're leaving your hair alone. There's no manipulation. So you're leaving your hair alone. So then, yes, you're going to see once you take out the weave, for the most part, if you take it out correctly, that's the other part of it, then you will see the length retention. But again, didn't know how to properly take out my braids with the weave. You know, they just say, here you go, and let a 13-year-old do her own hair. LOL. So, you know, I'm sitting here taking out my weave, whatever, and then I'm like seeing a little bit of length. But again, I go right back into, if I'm taking out my weave, and I go right back into straightening my hair. So that's heavy blow drying. That's heavy shampoos, even before there's blow drying. Heavy shampoos with heavy sulfate, right? Which is stripping your hair and making it even more dry. And then you're not doing the deep condition. And then now you're going into heavy blow dryer at the highest of heat with the brush. And then you're doing straightening on top of that. LOL. You will never see length retention like that. Your hair is going to be singed. That's what you're doing. You're singeing your hair the whole time. So I was stuck in that for a very, very, very long time. But then around 15, 16 years old, I got introduced to clips. Now, in my humble opinion, if you're going to wear extensions, clips are the best option. So then I started doing clips. But again, I'm still straightening. I'm still blow drying. I'm still doing heavy heat. I'm still relaxing. So I didn't really see length retention, but it definitely gave me more of like a natural look. And for me, again, I've always considered myself as being more of like honoring naturalness and authenticness and genuineness. And so for me, I always was trying to get to a natural place of just being my natural self and being confident with my natural hair. So with the clips, it did give me a little bit more of a break. And I think I probably intertwined it with weaves like my mom and I. And so I was able to see a little bit more length. So then I started getting comfortable just wearing my length, which is probably stuck here forever. But then it was like, you know, I was able to wear my hair, and sometimes I would do French braids. So it would give me a little wave. And so I was like, I felt more confident in my own hair at that point. Thankfully so. And with the clips, it gave a little bit more break. Then Hollywood comes along, right? I'm wearing clips at this point. And then obviously I become a group member of this group. Then weaves went into wigs. And so now your girl's identity in terms of her crown is completely covered, from her top of her crown to the bottom of her. And so again, there's a pro to getting weaves, is where, you get to cover your head, and you get to give your head a break, right? Give your hair a break, not head. You get to give your hair a break, because you're not manipulating it and doing all these different things and blah, 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 right? So I did that for a few months. But again, my identity was snatched, because I'm like, I want to be my natural self and have my natural, like, beautiful, gorgeous hair that you see now. Like, that's what I always wanted, but I just never knew how to get there. Obviously, because this is a 10-year, 15-year gap of weaves and wigs and braids and this and clips and blah, blah, blah. Not my identity. And so my sister, she was a hairstylist. For her, she was like, why don't you try Brazilian blowouts? And I was like, what is that? You know, and she was like, oh, you know, she explained it very well. So I said, okay, let's start doing it. So she started doing it to me. By the time my hair was destroyed, for obviously reasons, hair product, constantly going on the road, touring, you know, not taking care of my hair, in and out of weaves, all this stuff or whatever. If I would have stayed actually in the weave perspective though, if I would have stayed in the weave for at least 3 years constantly, I would have seen major growth. I would have seen major health on my hair, because again, leaving my hair alone. But I did not, of course, because I was very rebellious and crazy and thinking I know it all. So anyways, so I tried the Brazilian blowout, and within probably a month, I saw, I kid you not, my bangs used to be stuck up here, just broken, just brain. And so within a month, I saw the bangs go down here. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's crazy, you know? I'm like, okay, my hair is actually growing. And then after about almost like 6 months, because of the Brazilian blowouts and doing it consistently, I saw major length retention. And so now my hair for the first time is actually getting down here. And so for me, in my wildest dreams, I'm like, oh my gosh, my hair is the longest it's ever been. Oh my gosh, whatever. And so, you know, I constantly kept doing the Brazilian blowouts, and she kept doing them to me. And then eventually I ended up doing it myself, and I learned how to do it. And so I was like, you know, and creativity, especially in the esthetician or cosmetology or stylist or anything, comes very, very natural to me. And I started doing the Brazilian blowouts myself, and that everything was going right, everything was going good. But then I got the itch of bleaching my hair again, because I would go in and out of bleaching my hair. And now it doesn't take two and two. It doesn't take a mad science to understand that, like, bleaching your hair, blow drying your hair, straightening your hair, for the most part, especially for African American hair, is the absolute killer of everything. So I went back to bleach, and then all of the work that my sister and I had put into my hair destroyed, and she had nothing to do with it. But anyway, so I did that, and then I was trying to go, then I was like that. I think I got off of the Brazilian blowouts, and then I was just like kind of like doing that for a long time, still straightening, you know, and still trying to do the Brazilian blowouts. But my hair obviously went from like down here back to up here, short. And then I just got to a place of being like, you know what? I think I'm just going to have like short hair for the rest of my life. Like, I think I just need to come to the conclusion that my hair is never going to grow long. And I don't know how to grow long, and it's just going to be my life. It just is what it is. So I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm just going to I could do whatever hairstyle I want, any hairstyle color I want. And I'm just going to always have like healthy short hair. I'm going to keep it as a bob whenever I want to rock that, because I always loved bobs. Like, I still love bobs. And I think that's why God knows me. He created me, obviously. So like, I love the fact that I can have a short curly bob, but then I love the fact that I can straighten my hair and have like really long, beautiful hair. And so it was like this really toxic cycle for the last 15 years, 20 years of my life, fam, for real. And then so after all that, you know, I was finding Christ, and my identity was slowly finding Christ, right? So, but then, yeah, so then when I got saved, though, you know, your girl was still, I had dyed my hair. So this is the portion of it which gets really bad in terms of like the worst state of my chemical journey in my hair has ever been. So I'm getting closer to God, right? I think I dyed my hair jet black, which my hair is dyed again jet black. I just dyed it literally yesterday. Like, I love going jet black, and now it's kind of like a tradition for me to go jet black in the fall with curly hair, and then just let it wash out because it's semi-permanent. It washes out, and then I get back to like a sandy brown blonde in the summertime, which is completely natural. So I did that. So I dyed my hair like a month prior, okay? Dyed my hair a month prior. Of course, the packages, I did box dyes and box relaxers. LOL. So, but this is actually a box dye, which I love, which is by Clairol, and it actually is amazing, and it's natural for the most part, and it doesn't dry out my hair or make my hair like terrible. So I still do box dyes, but Clairol is the best one, FYI. But anyway, so I did a box dye, jet black, but it was another company, which obviously is terrible for your hair. And then a month later, I did it's called oh my gosh, it's a form of relaxer. I did that, which is terrible to do after a dye. It says to wait 3 months or so before you even do that. But of course I wasn't listening. And then I saw like my hair kind of softening to kind of getting, not this curl pattern, but it was like kind of like a wavy thing. And then I was like, okay, I should probably do it one more time. So a week later, and for all my people who know how bad this is, you know, a week later, I did another relaxer. And then, of course, for the next month or so, my hair is like kind of like very similar to this, but like wavy. It wasn't my natural curls. These are my natural curls. So it was like a wavy jet black. And I was like, oh, I'm living. Like, my hair was super easy to do in the shower. Finally, for the first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm living. What happened is that, as we know, chemical damage is real. I didn't know, no. But then this was the proof in the pudding. It was like a horror story. Your girl's hair was damaged forever. And I just remember, like, anytime I would touch my hair, whether that was putting product, whether that was doing it, whether that was trying to straighten it, whether that was washing it, whatever it was, your strands just fell out like a horror story. I was like, it was like the worst nightmare I could ever think of. And so I was like, Okay, and so God, here's where God comes in, okay? My sister-in-law and my ex-fiance, actually, at the time, my family basically were telling me to go natural. And I was like, I don't even know what this means. I don't even know what this means. And granted, this is already, by the way, I'm already saved by this time, okay? I'm already saved by this time. I'm already saved. This is like a year into me being saved. And so, actually 6 months into me being saved. And so I was like, oh, I don't know what that means or whatever. So I started researching natural hair. I didn't even know what to look, or I didn't even know what to say. Shout out to Curly Proverbs. Shout out to Curly Proverbs. Shout out to Natural 85. And shout out to Power in Your Curl. Those 3 girls right there brought me into an understanding with my hair. They crafted me, molded me, helped me to not only convince me to do a big chop, which big chop is just basically being like, okay, like I'm cutting off the damaged chemical process hair and I'm now moving into the journey of my own natural hair. So that was basically what I did at the age of 33, 34, I big chopped. And so I made the resolution, or I made the vow to be like, okay, let me grow out my natural roots to like at least 4 inches so I have something, and then I'm going to cut my hair. So that's what I did. I grew it out to 4 inches and then cut off my own hair. So I did it myself. And then I had this really short, as you see the pictures, I had this really short curly hair. So then I was like, okay, so God intervened in this whole process. He brought me back to my natural self that I had never known my whole life. Not even back to my natural self, because I never remember even ever my natural hair or nothing, like as a kid, because I went into relax around 9 years old. So then he allowed me to go, first of all, starting with my own family, being like, hey, you should go natural. Then through the research, and then finding these incredible women of step 1 to all the way to, however, to make sure that you have a successful process in your natural hair community, or in your natural hair journey. So then I was like, okay. So then I basically did all that. And then I never looked back. I mean, it's been like a 2 to 3 year journey thus far, 2.5 years, I should say. And I never looked back. And of course, I've had ups and downs, trials and errors, but that's the whole point of a natural journey. Like, you have to figure out what works for you. Now, I will say, in this modern world, especially with my sister-in-law, which I'm so proud of, you can, as a mother, take care of your child's hair now. Like, my mother did the best that she could, 1,000%, with the tools that she had, and which wasn't a lot in my opinion. And then she had the people who should have known about the natural care community telling her to not do something that was unnatural. So what is she gonna do? She doesn't know anything. And it's like, straight hair is completely different from African American hair. Straight hair is completely different from mixed hair. I mean, it just is what it is. It's a different maintenance. You have to do different things. You have to take care of it differently. You have to moisturize it differently. There's so many different things, right? And so God has been crafting and molding me through this journey to get me back to that state of confidence of my identity fully in Him, which I believe 100% has to do with my hair specifically. And so that is my testimonial. There's a lot more detail, but I know this video is a lot longer. I don't want to go too crazy, but I still do want to give you my final thoughts. So let's get into that. So my final thoughts are going to be that I 100% know God was behind this. Why? Because God knew that, specifically for me and thousands of girls around the world, that hair is important. Whether if you want to wear it short, middle length, or long, this is what you see. And especially if you're honoring modesty as a Christian female, this is majority of what you see all the time. And so, He's creative. He gave us different looks and different things. And we're not living in a time where, women are covering their heads. I know there's some religions, that do that, especially the Muslim religion. But again, I don't believe that's biblical. There's nowhere in the Bible that says thou shalt have to cover thou head or else, it's a sin. So that's not even biblical in terms of sinning. It's not a sin to have your hair out. It's not a sin. And so with that being said, He gave us creativity to wear it in different ways and different things like that. And again, if practicing modesty, you're going to want to show your hair in different styles. Your hair is not who you are, but it definitely is a representation. Who you really truly are as a woman and a believer of Christ is a servant of Christ, right? But I believe with the African American community specifically, because we're in America, right? here at least, but also not just America. I think worldwide. I would say the African hair miscommunication or misinterpretation or misconception is that the African hair does not grow. As you can see with my own self right now, and if you go and if you see some of these pictures of my hair in a longer state, that is not true. And obviously I'm mixed, but let me just show you actually women that I follow. Just if you don't believe me, let me just show you women that I follow who have the most stunning hair ever, in my opinion. It's thick, it's gorgeous, it's long. Yes, it'd take patience and time to grow out the hair, 1000%, but that's totally biblical, because what is a God? What is our God? Christian God. He's a God of patience. He's a God of enduring. He's a God of having a process, right? And not just a quick fix, a quick this, a quick that. As you know, with my own self, I had quick fix, quick this, quick that. And where did it lead me? Absolutely to the gates of hell from a hair perspective, in my opinion. And now you see with these pictures, stunning, beautiful, thick African hair. Women don't necessarily have to wear their hair long, but if you want to wear your hair long, you can. As an African American, as a mixed biracial person, multiracial person, whatever it is, if it's coinciding in and mixing with African roots and African heritage. With the YouTube University, and now that the underground community of naturals, right, that's what we call it, coming up now to the forefront, there are so many women for the rest of their life who are going to be set free. 1000%. And so again, what does freedom coincide with? Not being a captive. What does freedom coincide with? Jesus Christ. He gives you the freedom. He gives you that eternal life. And having women, by the way, who are not of African heritage, being able now to learn about this hair and actually love it and do it to their own daughters, whether their daughters biracial, whether they adopted daughters. I've seen this with YouTube women actually who adopted African daughters, and she does their hair beautifully, and she does all these different cool styles, and it shows the love of the Father that doesn't matter if you're black or white, doesn't matter if a different culture or different ethnicity. It's like, let's take the time to pour into this community who have gotten their identity snatched for so long. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what it really is. And if you don't want anything to do with that, and you're a mother and you don't want to take care of your daughter's hair who's biracial, if you adopted her, I just say you really have to sit down with God and ask him why you're feeling that way, because at the end of the day, God wouldn't do that. God would make sure he's taking care of that child's hair and everything else, not just externally, but mostly internally too. You get what I'm saying? That is going to be my final thoughts. I hope this video helps. I know it's like on the longer side, but testimonials are longer in general, but I just wanted to get that across, that God really save my identity or allow me now to walk in my identity, actually, because I didn't even know who I was. Basically my whole life I did not know who I was, but now my hair is a representation of God's doing. It's a representation 1000% of what he offers to us, you know, in many different ways, with the freedom that I have now and not worrying about my hair, you know, getting hot, if I get hot or if I sweat, because as we know, like, your hair changes different textures. If you straighten it before, it changes different textures to not being straight anymore. And so there's so many things I got. It's freedom is what I'm trying to say. I am free 100%, not having to worry about anything with my hair anymore. Praise God. So just wanted to share that. And I know there's girls that are probably watching this video who are not African American at all, but who have curly hair. You are free too now. And I've heard these testimonies of people who are not African American at all who can wear their curly hair now and just feel free, because it's like, yes. And they actually have a Crown Act, it's called, where they have an act and it's called the Crown Act, that you cannot discriminate against anyone's hair texture, color, or everything in between in the workforce, because the workforce also deemed straight hair or polished straight hair the only type of hair that you could wear that's acceptable. But as we know, thank God that's over. It's done, finito. We don't have to worry about it anymore. For any woman, if you're in the workforce, which I'm not in the workforce, but like, you get what I'm saying, you don't have to worry about it, because you could bring up the Crown Act in any situation that you're in, or even if that's a church situation or any situation, and be like, no, you can't discriminate against me, because it is discrimination. Like, God Your hair is natural when it comes out your head, so why aren't you able to wear it? Like other people are able. If your hair is shiny, silky, and straight, and that's natural, you're free. But everybody else who didn't wear their hair like that, who doesn't have natural hair like that, can't wear their hair like that. But yet they have to manipulate their hair to look like that. Come on, family. Come on. That's not freedom. That is a captive. And I will say though, I'm a huge fan of straight, silky hair. That's why I love to straighten my hair occasionally every 6 months to a year now, because I love my curly hair too. And I don't want to mess up my curl pattern, and there's so many other things that go into that. But I think that's beautiful. But like now let's look at other women and God's creation as also being very beautiful and diverse and incredible. So that is my testimonial for you. I hope you love this video. I hope this helps you a lot. I hope it stimulates you to get to a place of confidence to walk with God in your natural state. Because when you're in your natural state, and that's why I had these other videos, you know, with the Botox one and the boob job and the nose thing and all that stuff. When you're in your natural state and you could just look at yourself out the shower, cleanse, that is the most free ever that you want to get to that place if you're not there currently. And I feel you, women who haven't been there. My heart is with you, and I pray that this encourages you to get to that place. And just know it's a process. Honor patience, honor time. This on my head right now, as you see my hair, patience, 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 trial, error, process. But I'm gonna get there. The whole goal, the mentality, the mindset, I'm gonna get there eventually. Okay, so family, that is it for me. Feel free to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, make sure you hit that bell notification, hit the comment section up so that we can support each other and be there. I would love to know your testimony if you have one, if you're a female and you've gone through this, or you're going through this, or you want to go through the process of going to the natural route. Share. I highly encourage it, because I want to let everybody know that we are here together to support each other. This is a ministry that is being built, and a lot of people might think that this a lot of people might think that the subject is very surface, but it's a 1000% not surface for so many different reasons, and I will be willing to go into a debate with somebody who thinks it is surface. But that's another note. But anyways, feel free to like this video, share this video, subscribe, like, all that stuff. I love you so much. Te amo, and I will see you in the next video. God bless you for now. Bye-bye.